Hello there, this is African Information Network. I am Dr. Michael Umunna, and welcome to another episode of Focal Point Africa. Nigeria, for instance, during apartheid, spent over $60 billion. $60 billion. They are jealous of the aggressive and intellectual nature of those who have come to establish businesses there. Why is it that the South African government is not doing anything about it? Title of this episode is Xenophobia, South Africa's latest madness. I call it latest madness because so many things are happening in South Africa against other Africans who live in South Africa. Yesterday morning, a friend of mine sent me a video in which somebody was trying to define xenophobia, and he defined it as black crime against blacks. That is not completely true. Xenophobia is fear of foreigners. Why would South Africans be scared or have any kind of fear against other Africans who come to their country to establish businesses? They are scared because, one, those who are perpetrating this crime are the dregs of the South African society. That is one. What constitutes a dreg? You know, when you have palm wine at the bottom, you have the dreg, that which is not necessary anymore. That is what you pour away. These people are the lowest of the low in South African society. They are the miscreants in South Africa. And they are jealous of the aggressive and intellectual nature of those who have come to establish businesses there. Africans from all over Africa, especially Nigeria. If you go into South Africa, most of their hospitals have medical doctors who are Nigerians. Most of their schools have professors who are Nigerians. But why is it that this is happening in that section of South Africa where you have these poor people living? It is the fear. The South African government establishes a welfare system. In this welfare system, they provide vouchers to these poor, these lowlifes. And with those vouchers, they eat, they buy clothes, and they take care of their families. But the thing is, because a lot of them are drug addicts, a lot of them use drugs, and a lot of them are drunks, they spend this money like drunken sailors. They don't care about anything. And when this voucher is exhausted, they look for ways, they steal, they look for other ways and means to survive. So these guys who own these stores prevent these things from happening. So these are reprisals for that prevention. But then you will ask, why is it that the South African government is not doing anything about it? Just 3 days ago, a South African police commissioner was put on TV to react to this xenophobia. What did he say? His excuse was that about 88% of people who live in that community are foreigners. So that excuses these disastrous events that are happening to foreigners who are in your country. It tells me that the commissioner of police himself is a miscreant. He's a dreg of society because he has no solution. And then Julius Malema, the EFCC chairman, apologized to Africans, apologized to Nigerians. He has been saying South Africans should stop killing their brothers and sisters because other Africans are their brothers and sisters. According to him, Africa is a continent, and the boundaries we have were boundaries that were established and put there by our colonial masters. That is good enough, but that does not solve the problem. You cannot just apologize to a people for killing their natives. You can't apologize to a people for killing their citizens. The government of South Africa has not come out yet to make an official statement about this, and they have not come out to tell the world what they are going to do about what is happening in South Africa. Nigeria, for instance, during apartheid, spent over $60 billion. $60 billion to fight so that Mandela will gain freedom. When Mandela was released, one of the countries that he kept talking about was Nigeria. He kept saying Nigeria, Nigeria. He thanked Nigeria for everything they did to help him gain freedom. So if you go out there, that country is actually being developed by Nigerians, developed by members of community from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Mozambique, from Ethiopia, from Eritrea. Those are the people who are building South Africa. Because a lot of South Africans do not even have the intellectual wherewithal. They do not even have the capability to necessitate any kind of progressive movements that will help their system move forward, especially economically or socially. Now, you talk about the South African government not doing anything about these problems. What has the Nigerian government, for instance, done about it? Just yesterday, the chairman of the ruling party, APC, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, came out and condemned the killings, and then he said something to the tune that Nigeria was going to nationalize South African businesses that operate in Nigeria. Amongst these businesses, they mentioned ShopRite, they mentioned the DSTV, and they mentioned the MTN. Now, if you look down the list of who actually owns these businesses, you will find out that Nigerians actually control about 80% of these businesses. So, Nigerian youths are going into these stores, they are burning stores down, they are looting things from the stores. The question is, how does that help the situation? It doesn't help the situation because when you go into ShopRite, for instance, all the people who work in ShopRite are Nigerians. I have never gone into ShopRite and seen any South African working in any of the stores in ShopRite, because Nigerian businessmen who own the biggest shares in these companies, all they did was buy the franchise. When you buy a franchise, you are only buying a license to use the name of an organization to run the business. You do not own the business. So Nigeria has to stop this dilly-dallying around this thing, talking about nationalizing it. How do you nationalize something that belongs to people who are from your country? You cannot do that. So the thing is, Nigerian youth, your country is not doing what they're supposed to do. Our country is supposed to engage the South African government and deal with this man-to-man, government-to-government. You cannot say you are taking businesses that Nigerians already run. There are so many people in Nigeria because of the economic hardship there. There are so many women, young people in Nigeria who live by selling MTN cards. MTN cards. These people could make maybe 1,000 naira a day. That is how they survive. Those who work at ShopRite, there are graduates who work at ShopRite stores. That is how they survive. There are those who work at DSTV. That is how they survive. So if you do anything to destroy these businesses, you are not destroying anything that belongs to South Africa. You are destroying things that belong to Nigeria. Because those people who own these businesses are Nigerians, those who work there are Nigerians. You cannot justify destroying any of those things because of the xenophobia. Our government needs to, as a matter of urgency, engage the South African government. And the one way they can do it, the only thing that we can stop right now is to ground the South African airline from coming to Nigeria, because that belongs to South Africa. Though some Nigerians might be flight attendants in some of those airlines, that will be minuscule. It will be so small. It will be so atomic that it will not be relevant in the field of economic statistical data, because there are very few. But when you destroy MTN, you destroy ShopRite, oh my goodness, you are going to deny millions of people the opportunity to work in these stores. I have said it, and that's how it is. Thank you for watching, and please go to YouTube and subscribe to African Information Network, and let's keep these conversations going. Thank you very much, and God bless you.